Here we are, Sunday afternoon. Just going to take the old girl for a very short ride. New master cylinder. Actually, that needs to be adjusted. New master cylinder, new brake line, new pads. Caliper's not a Harley one, some sort of aftermarket one. It's taken days to get it to bleed, and I've still got a spongy lever. So that's not all that happy. Shouldn't do that really, should I? But I just did. Still got a little bit of excess. Actually, the clutch feels stiffer than the brake. Few on, bit of choke, I suppose. Couple of twists. Was running earlier to get it out here. Some ignition might help as well. Chili's barking. She's not happy about being left behind, but got to do a few things to this old girl before we start going riding. I want to put a screen up on the side there. I've got the stuff there to make it, but I haven't done it yet. We'll just go a few k's down the road. I tell you what, you probably couldn't get forgot to tighten that up. I better fix that, eh? Otherwise we'll look a bit silly. That could be embarrassing. Had another 10 or 12 mils of rain yesterday. It just lies around, doesn't it? Wish they could pick this up and put it in my tanks. That'd be nice. Back shortly. There we go. That's a bit better. It's a beautiful afternoon. Cooler for here. If this was Gyro, I'd be saying, gee, it's warm. I've just got my summer gloves. T-shirt, flannelette shirt over the top of that, and my jacket. That's it. No neck warmers or winter gloves or anything like that. Can only be a good thing. the old girl. Good afternoon, Uncle Tim. So I started saying before, you couldn't get two more different bikes than the K100 and this. I approached the sort of idea of motorcycling from quite different perspectives, you know. Old-fashioned V-twin versus you know, fuel injected 4-cylinder sort of thing. The BMW is currently off the road. The front brakes seized on it while I was sitting overnight, so I thought I'd you know, have a look at them as well. So it's been brake week for these two motorcycles. And because I'm not riding, I haven't been riding the BMW, with that I've just pulled, you know, flushed all the lines out, got a fluid extractor and did it that way. You know, checked all the things you got to check. And sort of putting it back together. It's going to be difficult actually to get a brake on that one as well, because it's got a leading link front end and a different rim, and different calipers. I don't know who made the calipers. Not, you know, I'm not saying they're homemade or anything. Slow down a bit. The last time I came through here in the car, there was water all over the road here. Gunningland Creek. Roads are bloody horrible. So, the way it's been set up, the BM, is the way the calipers have been mounted, and they're mounted behind the, you know, fork leg of the leading link. The bleed nipple is facing downwards almost, backwards and almost downwards. So I thought, oh well, I'll take the calipers off to try and you know, get them at least upright. You know, ideally you try and get them above the fuck this road. Look at these old telegraph poles. They must be like 1900 or something. It's fucking terrible, this road. It's so bad I'm going to turn around and go back the other way, actually. It's just ridiculous. So what was I talking about? Yeah, right, okay, so it's got a solid rim on the front. Looks like something like off one of these, like a Fat Boy or something. I don't think it is, but although you never know. And there's never a driveway when you want one, is there? Now the good thing is you can't get the calipers off the rotors without pulling the rim off. So that was that idea. Gone to pot, you know, it just seems ridiculous. I might have to do that in the end, but at the moment I'm sort of unwilling. I've decided, well, I've loosened both calipers and left them on one bolt so I can stand them up better. And that's an now they're getting to almost horizontal, so that might work. We'll see. I had enough trouble bleeding this one. I never usually have trouble with that sort of thing. But one of the things, of course, is I've been trying to get them both operating and bled from completely empty lines, you know. So that probably makes a difference. As I said, I even went and got myself one of those fluid extractors. That seems to make it fucking worse. I don't, you know, it's good to clean them out. Like, it was good to you know, extract all the fluid out of the lines to put fresh stuff in. So it's well worth having. But as far as bleeding goes, I don't seem to have the touch for it. But having said that, when I was doing this one, you know, and in consultation with my mate Harvey, who's, you know, he just knows what he's doing. He's a fitter with corners, you know, and he's got bikes, lots of bikes. He's got an old shovel actually. You've probably seen him in earlier videos of mine, you know. And so, you know, in consultation with him, you know, I'll probably sort something out with the VM. But with this old girl, ended up taking, first of all, I'd moved the caliper, the master cylinder up to here so I could get it horizontal, because, you know, it's kind of fucking silly. There's not a lot of you can't hold a lot of fluid in it with the cap off, you know. So God, that fucking shit road. So it wasn't that much luck there, so ended up pulling the caliper off And it's just one line, you know. So you wouldn't think that'd be too hard. You wouldn't think that'd be too hard. But I was having trouble with it. So I drilled a couple of holes into a post in the shed, put a couple of screws in them, took the caliper off and mounted it on one of the shed posts, you know. I'll put a photo in. And that way got the caliper way up above the buster cylinder, so I could get a lot more air through then. So that's worked pretty well. You know, the brake's not going too badly now. She's a lovely old girl. And she's a bit neglected at the moment. I need to get her out and give her a good clean up, a good polish and stuff. Still got to get a back tyre. Everything seems to be sort of vaguely, everything's sort of difficult at the moment, you know, with the house as well, and doing the main bedroom. You know, that sounds a lot more grandiose than it is. You know, what's going to be my bedroom, and you know, I had to do a couple little repairs on the wall corners. I was okay, there's nothing dramatic there. Got the insulation in and stuff. Got the insulation into the ceiling above the lounge room. You know, the brakes bedding itself in a bit. That's nice. Just going to sneak up this way for a little bit. And I apologise for the rambling and distracted nature of this commentary. So I got the insulation in the ceiling above the lounge room, and put a manhole in there. There's no manhole up to, and there are electrics in the roof, you know. So it sort of seemed a bit, you know, practical to put one in. Yeah, but then started looking at the idea of putting the ceiling insulation in the bedroom. And I realised how uneven the ceiling's going to be to try and put the gyprock in, you know. The rafters, the beams, joists. Some, 2 or 3 of them were quite warped, you know, so we were never going to get an even surface, you know. So we decided to put in some ceiling battens so we can hang the ceiling off them, you know. Chase Don't come on the road, Skips. It's my local mob. Where you going, you silly buggers? Just as well the front brake's working. So that's alright, but except Bunnings in Forbes doesn't carry the sealing battens, you know, so got to get to Orange to get some, and you know, I've got to go to Coffs Harbour next week, and everything just keeps taking longer than you want it to. But in the end, I've just decided, oh well, who cares? You know, I can live there until I get it right, hopefully. These guys are just going to keep going, aren't they? I think we'll just stop and let them go, shall we? I don't know where the rest of the mob is. Yeah, well, gear change is a bit stiff at the moment. I just saw... I still got the buddy. I still got the choke on? No. Just in there's a truck. Oh, and some cattle. I thought the other one was a rusty wreck as well. The cattle take on the colour of the rusty truck. There's the remains of a T-model Ford in the yard next to my place. It's confusing because there's some other late model Falcon parts mixed in with it. Anyway, so we'll get there with the house. Anybody who wants to come and visit, they'll just have to, you know, pretend they're camping for a while. Slow down, Plunky. We don't know what happened to the rest of that mob. If I was going to ride any further, I'd probably be going, oh, maybe I should look at some warmer gloves and stuff. I mean, you know, so far as, you know, the nights are cooler. You know, down to 1 degree or so. 0, I think, maybe, one day. But because I've been used to Gyra, I haven't even felt like that I need to light a fire or anything, you know, even though the house is clearly not sealed at the moment. Now I've got no ceiling in the room next to where I'm sleeping. I suppose we better turn around and go home shortly. Before the dog, you know, rips up half the house or whatever. Eats the cat, something like that, or the cat eats the dog, who knows. righto, I'll turn around when I find a driveway. But we're in Australia, you know. I was going to say that's one of my neighbours, but that's just their sheds. Well, there is that house as well. Oh, it's a shed. Oh, I forgot to turn around. What a shame. Imagine that. Be curious to see what we can do with that BMW. It's with the handling, you know. Haven't had a chance to do anything with it yet. Gotta be a driveway here somewhere, surely. I always forget where they are. I think we're just going to have to turn around. This is an old Harley, you know, with Softail suspension. As you know, we've had a lot of trouble with it. Who knows how long it'll last this time. Hasn't been ridden much since I've put those new heavy duty springs on. But you know, it tracks along pretty well for a couple of homemade jobs, you know, as in my mate Paul and Mark, and you know, I sort of did the research and stuff, you know, how much lead to have on the sidecar wheel and stuff like that. Which reminds me, I thought about that idea as well, had a bit of a look. But it's got a bit under 12 inches lead on the BM, and so that's well within acceptable normal parameters, you know. So we can sort of rule that out. You know, was the previous owner, I've had a couple of chats to him. Had a chat to him on the mountain at Bathurst the other week, whenever that was, last weekend before, something like that. Last weekend. And he thinks the subframe flexes. It doesn't look like it should, but I guess that doesn't mean it's not. And there is space at the front there to put in a brace. It's a strange mixture of just steel plate and round tubing. I don't know who made it. So I'll have a look at that as we go along. I've got this had a smart car rim on it and a different adapter. So I'm still My other K-bike, I have an adapter for a 15-inch VW rim. Yeah, the brakes are okay. Not brilliant, but then it's a Harley too, isn't it? So there's a bit of that. I forgot what I was saying now. Trying to keep her out of the mud a bit, I guess. The old girl, eh? Fun to ride. Fun to ride at legal speed. Harleys. I'll have ever Harleys with a sidecar anyway. This yard's a shocking mess. Shed's a shocking mess. The Harley needs a good wash and a polish. I've been riding around without my headlights on. That's a bit naughty, isn't it? That's a bit sort of illegal, I suppose. There is that. Fuel off. Smells a little bit oily. It's a Harley, isn't it? It's got those kind of smells. Could do with an oil change too before we take it too much further. I did the filter last time, so it probably doesn't need a filter. We'll give her an oil change. Hey James Almond, what do you use for oil in your Evo? I've just been using Penrite. No, Western Gulf 2050. I'm not somebody who's likely to run around spending fortunes on Harley oil, you know, from a motorbike shop that's going to cost ridiculous amounts of money. Sorry, just seeing what's in my pockets here. Thanks, Uncle Tim.